There's not going to be justice without justice for us and justice for you guys.
There's nothing he said so far that has beaten off the path of just openly funded Qatari Islamic regime of Iran funded Palestinian propaganda.
Maybe.
There was nothing there of a unique point. There was nothing there intellectual. All of it was just bullshit pro-Palestine propaganda talking points.
And the victim mentality.
Of course.
Without the victim mentality, there's no justification for the Palestinian resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And this is indeed the Zionizer and Jewish Dawa Inon Dan Kihati Tal the Traveling Clat. And today we're going to speak about another distinguished guest, who is Mohamed El-Kurd. Mohamed El-Kurd, I don't know if you know Mohamed El-Kurd, but he's a very prominent pro-Palestine, not really pro-Palestine, anti-Israel activist, which is very accepted among the liberal progressive left.
He's Palestinian?
Yeah, even though his name is El-Kurd,
meaning the Kurdish.
We're going to get to that soon, colonizer.
The plot thickens.
Yes. And shall we see what's up, what's going on?
As they say in our region, Yalla.
Or bring it on, Habibi.
Habibi.
Our guest, Mohamed El-Kurd, grew up in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of East Jerusalem, where Israel spent years trying to evict Palestinian families in order to give their homes to Jewish settlers. Mohamed El-Kurd, welcome back to Democracy Now! Congratulations on your new book. As you go around the country presenting perfect victims, you hear about this bookstore being closed and the owners being arrested. Your thoughts and the significance of going after the books?
I mean, I think this is the attack on the educational bookstore in Jerusalem is yet another saga in the Israeli regime's scholasticide, the attack on culture, scholars. We've seen them literally bomb every single university in the Gaza Strip. And the educational bookstore is in fact not the first bookstore in Jerusalem to be closed down, its owners arrested. So there is, a criminalization of thought, a criminalization of the intellect, really. And we've seen this extend even to the realms of social media, where so many thousands of the people who have been arrested in the past 15 months have been arrested over Facebook posts. So the Israeli regime really is waging a war of consciousness against the Palestinians' ability to express national sentiments. And we see this also here in the United States with President Trump saying things like students who support the resistance will have their visas revoked. So there's an attack on, the intellect itself.
And I must say here something that is very, very bothering me. The attack on freedom of speech. I mean, how dare he criticize our freedom of speech when, in Israel you have anti-Zionist parties, you have people that speak frequently against Israel. And if you go to the Palestinian Authority, or not to mention Gaza, not to mention Arab country, will you see someone criticizing their own government there? And the audacity to go to a Western media outlet and speak like that, especially regarding how much rights they get, and even no obligations Arab Israelis or Palestinians living in Israel get. It's beyond me, but it's no wonder that his book is called Perfect Victims. It's all about victimhood, and this is another thing. Without victimhood, without being oppressed, so-called, or without being portrayed as, without a struggle, there's no Palestinian identity. And this is something very important to discuss.
Yeah, I think Momo here makes a lot of dishonest talking points. The one that stuck to me the most was how the Israelis have bombed every university in Gaza. I just have one thing to say. Stop putting terrorists in your universities. We won't bomb them. Keep doing it. We'll keep bombing them. We can do this dance forever. If you put a terrorist in your university, I am fully in support of bombing that university. No questions about it. You would do the same. You would do worse.
And at least we notify before we do. Right?
Yeah. And you're Kurdish, so Just saying.
Mohamed El-Kurd, you asked why Palestinians have to preface their support for the struggle against the occupation with some kind of statement distancing themselves from resistance actions like the attacks of October 7th of 2023. Why is this problematic? While supporters of Israel are never expected to decry the everyday violence of the occupation.
Because it's racist, because there's an impossible standard, there's an impossible demand made of the Palestinians to be, for lack of a better expression, perfect victims, to portray themselves in this, with this ethnocentric civility that adheres to Western guidelines. Otherwise, they would be deserving of death, they would be deserving of being bombed. And to reject this is to say that the Declaration of Human Rights is unconditional, and it's universal. And to reject this is to say that, we believe in dignity. We don't believe in having to shrink ourselves or to perform a different script in order to be awarded freedom and dignity. It's these are things we are entitled to.
Can I say something real quick before you go?
For sure.
All right, Mohammed, if that's what you want, then I'm not applying any sort of less Western democratic values on myself. If it's impossible for Palestinians to be Western and democratic, let's go. I don't want to be Western and democratic anymore. It's a war. Let's do it. I don't want to do it. If you can't do it, I can't do it.
I've been to Sheikh Jarrah so many times. Sheikh Jarrah or Shimon HaTzadik. And I went there and spoke with people from the Palestinian side, from the Jewish side, the Jewish side that he referred to as settlers. I'm a proud settler. This is also part of our neighborhood. I'm not against Palestinians living also there, but every time that I went and saw the leftists there, the so-called peace organization or the peace industry there, they actually want a real apartheid. They want only Arabs to be there and no Jews.
Yeah.
And, we don't have really Jews living in Palestinian areas. And until then, it's there's not going to be justice without justice for us and justice for you guys.
There's nothing he said so far that has beaten off the path of just openly funded Qatari Islamic regime of Iran funded Palestinian propaganda.
Maybe.
There was nothing there of a unique point. There was nothing there intellectual. All of it was just bullshit pro-Palestine propaganda talking points.
And the victim mentality.
Of course.
Without the victim mentality, there's no justification for the Palestinian resistance.
And it goes back to something we talked about. Victim in front of the ignorant white people in the room. But the second he's speaking in Arabic, motherfucker, he is no victim. That is not a victim. When he's talking in Arabic, he's talking about how this is the conquest of the dhimmi. This is the conquest of the infidel. He's not talking about this in a victim mentality.
Mamash. So anyway, it's you want to wrap it up?
I think Mohamed El-Kurd gets a big L. He bullshit this one big deal. Very, very big. And as an American Jew who has family who lived in Kurdistan at a certain period of time, I'd like for him to take a DNA test. That's what I ask. They always ask us to do DNA tests. I did mine. Even though I have family who lived in Kurdistan, my DNA says it's 99% from Palestine, from the Levant, from Canaan, from Israel. I'd like for Mohamed El-Kurd to check his DNA.
Perhaps he should go back to where he came from.
I mean, if you don't want to do the democracy thing, you want to live Hooga Booga rules, I'm down, baby. But you got to decide whether you want to be here or you don't. Because if you want to play Hooga Booga rules, we're going to win. You're not going to win the Hooga Booga round. So maybe you should go back to Kurdistan. Maybe they'll accept you there. I don't know.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, ma salame.